What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami, and this is my list of the worst movies of 2021. And I know this is the list you all have been waiting for, especially the trolls who want to be able to take my negativity and spin it into even more negativity and think that they're really insulting me about it. But whatever. I've got my list here. Same sheet as my best list, which you can just look at if you want to pause. I mean, okay. Good luck reading my handwriting, and if you can't read my handwriting, well, this one you can probably read, but whatever. I've got my list here. I'm just going to run through the movies. Now, not everything on this list is technically here because it was downright bad. It's because of all the movies I saw this year. Some of these were just like, well, I've got nothing worse to put on here, so here you go. Prime example, number 10. Eternals. It wasn't a downright terrible movie. It's not the MCU's worst. However, it wasn't anywhere near their best. Same with number 9, Black Widow. Everything Black Widow did, the Winter Soldier did better. I didn't hate Black Widow. The more I've thought about it, though, the more I think that I do think Eternals was better than Black Widow. And that's saying something because neither one of these movies were all that great. Again, they weren't terrible, but compared to the rest of the MCU, I could have done without them. And Black Widow, I think, also gets worse than Eternals because everything in that movie was completely pointless. We know what happens to Black Widow because of Endgame. This movie was too late, and this is coming from someone who is a huge Black Widow fan. Number 8, Luca. I don't know what is going on with Pixar as of late, but they are falling behind. I mean, not every one of their movies has always been a masterpiece. Cars 2, The Good Dinosaur, Brave, Monsters University is like their absolutely most atrocious film they have ever made. But Luca again was an enjoyable, fun film. I had fun with it. It's on here because I didn't see anything worse than Luca, or enough that was worse than Luca to be for Luca to not make this list. It was kind of hard to put Luca on here, but I did like Black Widow more than Luca, and I do like Eternals more than Luca. Or do I? Maybe Luca should have been 10. Well, it's too late now. Luca was number 8. Number 7, Cliché the Movie, aka Fast 9. Fast and the Furious 9. Fast, whatever this thing is of a franchise at this point. Yeah, that's all I've got for this series. It wasn't the worst installment for the Fast movies. That's still the previous one, but they went to space. Enough said. Number 6, Escape Room 2. I don't know what happened. I thought the first Escape Room was actually a pretty solid, enjoyable movie. It had a lot of good moments to it. It had legitimate moments of suspense. The characters were all likable. So what the hell happened with Escape Room 2 or Escape Room Tournament of Champions? Well, I guess, first of all, how can it be the Tournament of Champions when it's the second movie in the series? Shouldn't that be like the 7th or 8th movie in the franchise where you take all the surviving characters from the previous movies and put them into a single movie? So yeah, how is this Tournament of Champions? Secondly, the movie was downright boring. Third, speaking of Tournament of Champions, they never actually really went into how these people won their escape room games. They're just there and they just say, oh yeah, I won, I lost this or I lost that. But they never actually showed us how these people survived. And then the acting, like there's this one character that shows up at the end of the movie, and you know that she's going to be evil because of course, but the acting was just atrocious, as if they didn't even rehearse the scenes. They just did one take of this lady's scenes, and that was it. They called it good. That they were like, one take and okay, we're good. We don't need to do any second takes. So yeah. And it also doesn't help that the trailer pretty much showed you everything that was going to happen in the movie, because a lot of the scenes in the trailer are actually from the final sequence of the movie. Number 5 is Spyro. No, not the Spyro that's related to the Ring series. Spyro is a sequel to the Saw franchise. And it's like they said, oh, you can't make a worse movie than Jigsaw. And the producer said, hold my beer. You want to see a worse movie than Jigsaw? We've got it for you. So yes, Spyro. Boring. Utter dog shit. After that, at number 4, we have the duology of Sailor Moon Eternal. Good God. Sailor Moon Crystal was already a train wreck for the Sailor Moon franchise in adapting the manga. It was a rushed mess. Figured, okay. Season 3 showed some promise because it showed they got their pacing at least somewhat down. And then they decided to make the next arc into 2 movies and rush it even more. They cut out important scenes from the manga. They cut out character development for the villains. They just completely ruined what was already kind of ruined, only they tried to make it worse. I have no idea what Toei was thinking. At least the animation was nice. That's something, right? The dubbing was bad. Like, the dubbing wasn't even consistent with the other dubs of Crystal. They changed the voice of Pegasus in the new dub for Eternal compared to who it was in the Supers. Yeah, it was not a good adaptation of the Dreams arc for the Sailor Moon manga. It makes the rush job of the first season and the second season look well-paced. At least, like I said, the animation was good. Alright, number 3. Matrix Resurrections. What the hell was the point of this movie? It shows that a new war has started, but then it doesn't do anything about that war. Instead, it's about resurrecting Neo and just doing all these callbacks. The movie is so far up its own ass that they're actually showing you scenes from the other movies in this movie, making you wonder, why am I watching this one? I should just be watching that one instead. Again, it's like I didn't think they could make a worse movie than The Matrix Revolutions, but here we are. Now, there were some interesting aspects in this movie. With some minor spoilers. The beginning of the movie starts out like the original Matrix movie, with a rehash of that scene, just redone. But the movie starts out that Thomas Anderson, you know, Neo's Earth name before he's pulled out of the Matrix, is a game designer. He created a Matrix trilogy of video games that were the biggest games of the early 2000s. Everyone loved Bullet Time. Well, they've now decided that they want a sequel to that. And he's going through some mental breakdown, and so he has to see a psychologist, and then he's pulled back into the real world from the Matrix. I think it would have been much better if they had this movie be like the first 2/3 of it was actually a psychological thriller. Like, you're starting to wonder, oh, is Thomas Anderson actually, maybe in this world, the Matrix were just video games, and Thomas Anderson is having a mental breakdown? This is actually kind of interesting. And it's a psychological thriller for the first 2/3. About an hour into the movie, we see his medication being blue pills. As the audience, you're like, wait a minute. Those are all blue pills. What if this isn't just a man having a psychological breakdown, but is actually a man stuck in the Matrix, that he really is resurrected? And then the last little bit of the movie, he gets freed from the Matrix and learns that everything he thought was fake really was fake. And everything that he thought was fake was also real. Could have done that route. No, that's not at all what they did. They couldn't even give this movie an ending. The villain... I guess I should just stop there. But yeah, the movie didn't even have an ending. It had a to be continued type bullshit scenario, which is kind of funny because Wachowski, she apparently has said that there is no sequel planned. Yeah, right. I call bull on that with how this movie ended with no ending. Right. Either way, this movie sucked and was a complete waste of time. Number 2. Worse than Matrix Resurrections? Snake Eyes, a G.I. Joe origin. Let's take a character who is mute, doesn't speak, always wears a mask because his face is scarred to hell, and is a true American hero who fought in Vietnam. And let's turn him into a non-stop talking, pretty boy who never wears a mask, is a douchebag who is the whole reason the movie's problems exist, and is only enlisted into G.I. Joe because his father was. So, nepotism at its finest. That's what this movie tells you, kids. Nepotism is the true American hero. And knowing is half the battle. Next is my final, the absolute worst movie of the year, and that is Mortal Kombat. I hated the creative character aspects of Mortal Kombat in Armageddon. The last thing I wanted was the creative character mode from Armageddon to become a movie. A movie with a character that has the most bullshit plot armor, literal plot armor, imaginable. Sub-Zero goes around freezing people. No holds barred, kills everyone. Sub-Zero freezes this dude's family. He doesn't kill them. He doesn't shatter them like he does everyone else. No, he just leaves them there so that they could get freed. And the biggest reason this movie is, for me, the worst movie of the year is I actually had some expectations. I was still skeptical, but the more I thought about it, the more I had expectations for this movie. And yeah, no. No. Mortal Kombat is hands down the worst movie of 2021. That's all I've got. Let me know in the comments, what is your worst movie of 2021? Which ones on my list do you disagree with? Which ones do you think I am totally crazy for including on this list? Let me know in the comments. I said that already, didn't I? Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking in to support me. You can support me on Patreon at Kaiju no Kami, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Kaiju no Kami, my website, creativitybydesignllc.com. And then there's also my Discord at Kaiju no Kami, and the Kaiju no Kami store at creativitybydesignllc.com/shop. Yeah, I did some weird pause there, whatever. Until next time, bye.